The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of The Loft. I'm Kathy Bailey-Smith, along with Andrea Sebastian and Amber Logue. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
We have a fun spring-like show scheduled today. We will be meeting with Brenda Douglas, who is a home staging expert. So she's going to share some interesting information with us about that. But before we talk to Brenda, I figured we could all kind of catch up and find out what's going on.
Well, it feels like it's been a while since we've done this, but it hasn't really. I don't know. I guess a lot's happened in between.
It's just been really nice weather, so we think like it fast forwarded.
Right.
Feels like way into spring or something. Yeah, and it's going to be 70s, I heard, too.
Thank God.
Coming.
Can't wait.
Wow. Well, that's kind of interesting because I know that you were on spring break last week. I guess winter break, but I think it was more spring break, right?
It was winter break, but it wasn't. Yes, I guess most of it was. But I went up to the White Mountains to go on a dog sled. I took the boys on a dog sled trip.
Oh, fun.
It was freezing. It was 15 degrees. It was freezing.
Well, what did you do though?
It was really fun. I mean, it's Muddy Dogs is the name of the organization.
Oh, in my head, I was just thinking like they
Like
were dogs
everyone's
covered
muddy.
in mud. I'm like, that's so weird. I'm like, okay, continue.
Sounds good.
How
Keep
fun it was.
going.
Yeah.
I know. It's literally named Muddy Dogs, and it's the organization. They're a nonprofit organization where they rescue dogs who have been sled dogs before. So they rescue the dogs. They have about 120 on site.
Wow.
So it's nonprofit. So any of the monies that you pay to take the trip or do the trip goes completely and is totally devoted to the dogs.
So do you like learn how to tie them up onto the sled and then you actually go through on a course and stuff like that?
And you do it yourself or somebody takes you?
No.
I
They
was gonna
have
say.
someone who does the mushing.
Yeah.
And she has the commands that they use. But we had to use, it was snowing that day that we were there.
Really?
But yeah, which is kind of weird because there was no snow here, but it was freezing cold and
Right.
snowy up there. But they didn't have quite enough snow, so the sleds were on wheels. So we had to do, but it was still kind of
So
fun. I mean, it
then
was still
that's
fun.
what? So that all year they train the dogs to continue. If there's no snow, then
They put
they
them on the
use
wheel.
them
They,
all-
and they
okay.
go till up to 75 degrees. So they do this in the spring too.
Oh,
so it's
fun.
not just strictly over the winter.
Okay.
fun.
Because you
Yeah.
would assume dog sledding is a winter
Right.
sport
Right.
type sled thing.
Right. I mean, it was
Yeah.
pretty the day that we were there because it had just snowed, and so it was really, really pretty. And the dogs are just amazing. You get to walk. Part of the experience is really engaging with the dogs.
Right.
So you get to walk and meet all the dogs. They do sleep outside, believe it or not. They all have their own dog houses. Each individual dog has a dog house, and they have a little area for themselves. And some of them were really
I'm just
interesting.
picturing like Snoopy, like all the little dogs
I know.
in a row.
120. I mean, picture 120 dogs on this
Well,
property.
no, but I laughed too when you said like they all have their space because like for some hours of the day they have to all like be on the sled attached and everything, and at night they're probably like, listen, get out of my circle. Like, I don't want to be near you, you know?
Well, it's really neat too because they hear, because we got to see, or when we were getting ready to take our trip, they either scent or hear this other sled or trip coming back because it's like a 2-hour trip, and they go bananas. So picture 120 dogs just barking, but they're really amazing. I mean, it really truly is amazing.
So you're on the sled and your kids were on the same sled with you? Okay, so how many people fit on the one?
Up to 500 pounds, including this. Was it including the sled or including the guide maybe?
Okay,
But,
so there could be a few people.
Yes,
okay.
you could have a few people, and you have. I mean, it was so cold we were there. They had sleeping bags, so we were wrapped in sleeping bags, and yeah. I mean, it's just. I would totally recommend it if you're looking for something totally different to do. It's for a good cause, and it's so scenic and beautiful up there. It's right near Mount Washington.
Right. And it's a day trip if you
It's a
want
day
it to
trip.
be a day
It was
trip.
a 2.5 hour drive, I guess, somewhere
Yeah.
around that. So I loved it. I mean, the kids actually loved it, which I wasn't quite expecting because when I told them I booked the trip, they were like, here we go again. Mom's grand ideas.
We have to participate.
But they were kind of like, wow, you know, I mean, it was kind of neat to kind of, once they started interacting with the dogs, it was special. It's a special experience. And then you get to give the dogs treats and then learn about the people who actually run the place, you know, so it was really fun. It was
Well,
really fun.
speaking of trips, I don't know if you all heard about John Glenn, the astronaut that spent 340 days out in space, okay? And I just thought that was like kind of mind-blowing. But I was like, kind of started thinking, would I want to do that? And I don't know if in my lifetime I'll have an opportunity to ever go to space, but like if the opportunity presented itself, like would I want to go? I don't know. The whole ride up there, coming down in a capsule,
I would love
splashing.
to go, just based on the fact that, you know, there's a handful, well, more than a handful now, but relatively speaking, compared to how many people get to go to the Grand Canyon, right?
Right.
So it's a very unique trip.
But if it wasn't
I wouldn't want to
unique,
be 300 and something days, like, you know, a couple would be
like
good.
up and down a weekend.
Yeah. So where'd you weekend?
getaway.
Would
Space.
you do? No, but that's what I'm saying. Like if it got to the point where space travel was something as easy as it is to step on a plane and go wherever you want to go in the world, would you want to do it?
I don't know. I don't really have a great desire to.
Yeah, I think I was the same way. I'm like, it's
I absolutely
fascinating.
would, in a
Yeah.
heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I'm like, no, I kind of like it down here.
But she likes to jump out of planes.
Yeah,
too.
but I also
True,
don't
that's
have
true.
So maybe
Right.
that's
Yeah.
where this, you know,
Yeah.
adventure side
Yeah.
comes from. So I don't know. I'm not really.
No.
No, I mean, I guess it depends. How long does it take? You know what I mean? Like, do I want to be like take 20 days to get there? You know what I mean? Or
no, I
I'm not
think it's
sure
a lot
how-
faster.
Is
but
it?
I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, it would be interesting to kind of see. And the fact that he's like what 70.
77, I
77?
think it is. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, I think it's funny too. I heard that he got 3 inches taller.
So that's why I want to go, right? Like, okay, so how many days is it for an inch?
Yeah. That's how you're going to base your
Yeah.
time travel there.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That is too funny.
Half an inch, okay, I don't have time for a full inch, so.
Amber, now you have a cool kind of story to
Yeah.
tell and share.
So our, previously, back
Yep.
a few months ago, we had Carissa on the show, Carissa Eve Medium. So finally, I was like, I'm gonna go see her. So I did. And it was really interesting because you think of a medium, you're just speaking with, you know, loved ones who have passed away or passed on. But you also can speak to, or ask to speak like your guides. So your spirit guides and people around you that are helping you, you know, through this life. And so my question had more to do with like life path and this and that. And she smiles and she's like, that's nice. Like, and so she goes on in this whole conversation about she's like, your guys are so excited right now that they get to tell you this, but like, that's great that that's your path and that's what you want to do. Like, we're going to talk about that. She's like, but what we really need to tell you is the fact that in this life, you've been through all these different things. And she's like, in this life, your mission is to be loved and to learn how to accept the love. And I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that one. I was like, that was kind of like a brick over the head. And I would try to pass it off. Like, no. And she's like, see, you're doing it. She's like, so start easy. Like somebody compliments your hair before. I'd be like, oh, I haven't washed it in 4 days. She's like, stop. Say thank you. And translates into everything that you do. And so she's like, maybe it'll be hard for you, maybe it won't. I'm like, okay. So I picked a few girlfriends. I'm like, okay, listen, so here's the deal. I need you to help me be responsible and just like yell in my face. So I was getting my hair done and I was talking to my girlfriend about, you know, somebody I'd met over the weekend. I'm like, I start like writing them off. And she stops, grabs my head and yells into the mirror. She's like, accept the love. I'm like, hear you loud and clear. Got it. So it's really interesting, but she's just, and we went on and, you know, we talked about, we ended up speaking with my grandmother and she's like, your grandmother wants you to get your dog a dog. Your dog needs a dog to cuddle.
Oh,
A
no.
little white, moppy, fluffy one. She's like, but it's okay. You can wait till like July or something. She's like, she's like, I see him and he looks so sad. Like,
Wow.
I'm like,
Oh.
yeah.
That's really Like,
That's kind of interesting.
yeah.
She's like, and she tells me that she's always in your, what'd she say? Rainbows. She's like, anytime you see a rainbow, that's from her, a sticker or anything. I'm like,
So you left feeling very comfortable and like kind of, you were
yeah.
thinking, but like a lot of the stuff that she told you kind of made you
It really
happy or
resonated,
like,
and it was
okay.
just, and it wasn't so much about, like, I think sometimes when people go, they're looking for, they already know the answer they want to hear, which is the reason why people go. And so when you don't necessarily receive that direct answer, but you gain more insight into really the longer path to that answer, it was like really eye-opening. And it was, this is what you want and this is your goal. Well, this is really what's preventing you to get there in a different way than like a life coach or other stuff would be. So it was really eye-opening. And I left and I was like, wow. I was like, she's really good. So you have to go see her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I keep
she's
wanting to.
really good.
You are like,
Yeah.
too, yeah. Okay, I'll have to
All
go.
You have to.
Give her
That's
a
it.
call.
Peer pressure,
Yeah,
feeling
do it,
pressure.
do it.
Well, we will be back shortly. We're going to take a quick break, and we will then be joined by Brenda Douglas, who's going to talk to us about staging. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome back to the Loft. I'm Kathy, along with Andrea and Amber, and now we are joined with a staging expert. Brenda Douglas is joining us from Staged Works.
Yes.
Welcome, Brenda.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank
for
you.
coming on the set of the Loft today.
Very excited. Very excited.
When I heard you were coming on, I had a quick question, and I thought of, what's the difference between staging and designing? So I thought maybe you could give us that distinction.
Yes, because I get this question a lot. A lot of times people ask me, "Oh, would you come decorate my house?" And interior decorators and home stagers are actually the opposite ends of the spectrum. Interior decorators take large amounts of time. They get to know you. They learn your taste. They will specify things for your home. I actually come into your home and I take away all your taste. I untaste your home. So what we do, we market homes for real estate, to sell your home. That's what a home stager does. My background is in hotel management. So for years I was a general manager of many hotels, and the people that own the hotels actually built and renovated them. And I got stuck working in the hotels that were under construction. So I got to work with and see all the designers that would come in the hotel rooms. You go into a hotel, right? It's the bed, it's the curtains, and it's very minimal. Space planning's important. Every inch of that room has to be used for something specific. So I got to watch them picking out the fabrics and the bedding, and loved it. So I think that's where I liked it. So many years later, I worked for IBM for a long time, did lots of different things. Decided I wanted, HGTV became big.
Oh, yeah.
Kept decorating my own house. We bought that house down the street from Andrea, and and he said, you better figure out how to make money doing this, because you're not going to keep redecorating the house. I said, all right, how can I make money at doing this? So I ended up meeting someone that owned a home staging company. I worked with them. We worked together for a few years. I figured out what my niche was. Everyone has their own niche of what they're good at. My particular area, I like to work with real estate investors. So, you watch all those shows on TV, Flip This House, and they renovate them and they fix them up. And Joanna and Skip on Fixer Upper. And
Yeah.
Oh, love them.
They're like one of my favorites.
so a lot of my clients, they say, hey, Brenda, we bought this property. I go and look at it. It's scary, very scary. And we talk about, what are we going to do? New cabinets, new flooring, new paint, lighting. And I come back 3 months later, and I put furniture in it. And then realtors come in and put it online. And so that's what I do mostly. The other part of our job is to go in. We work with realtors, and realtors are there to sell the house. They have a hard time going into a property and saying, okay, seller, I'm here to sell your house, but I don't like your house. The condition of your house
that's not
doesn't
really
show
nice.
well, right? I'm sorry, you want us to pay you a large commission. That's your job. You figure it out. So I'm kind of the middleman, and either the client hires me or the realtor hires me, and I go in like a buyer, and just like if you came to my house. If you came to my house, you might see the coffee stain next to the chair. I didn't see it. It's been there for 10 years. I don't see it. You walk by it. You don't notice it. You don't even realize it's there anymore. You need a new set of eyes to come in and really point out. And I point out every little thing that a buyer might point out when you walk through the house. So we start at the front door. We walk in. I start with, okay, this doorknob is dirty. The screen is ripped. The light doesn't work. And we go through and we do pages of lists.
Wow.
And we take photos, and I give them their checklists. And depending on if it's a home that they want to get more money for, we'll do a lot of updates. If it's just cosmetics, maybe they'll just do, go to Home Goods and buy some pillows.
It's
It
a
could
tough
be-
discussion, though, to have, I think, right? Because
And
a lot
you
of
have to be
people.
very empathetic with
Yeah.
people, especially elderly people. You have to be very empathetic, and they, you have to know where they're coming from. They might be going through a divorce. There might be a death in the family. All sorts of different reasons. So you don't want someone coming in and attacking you or saying, what do you mean? This is the last thing I need to do. I work a full-time job. I have 2 kids. I can't clean the house. I can't pack. I don't have time for this. So you try to make as many solutions as possible and help them. You're not there to make their lives more difficult. You need to give them options and help them and do whatever you can to help them, because they need to sell the house for one reason or another.
I think there's good information, though, that when you do have it staged, a lot of times you can't argue with how fast it sells. When you've cleared out clutter and you've made it look, like HGTV ready.
There's been many homes that I've gone in, and maybe the second or third realtor has come in to try to sell a property. And that third time, I come in and I'll say, okay, why didn't it sell? I can tell why you didn't sell. You never packed, you never put away your collections, you never painted, you never updated the bathroom, so if you keep doing the same thing over, if people are not coming to look at your home, actually, I'm sorry, a lot of times if your house is on the market for sale, if they're not coming at all, it's probably price. It's just out of their, they don't think it's either worth the price or, they're looking at many homes and that's just not the one. If people are coming and not making offers, a lot of times it's how it shows. They get there and they go, oh, okay, there's too many issues. They either want a huge price drop or, so I'll come in and say, okay, if we're getting showings, this is what you need to do in order to get the price you want. it's up to you. I'll be very honest. I'll say, you can leave it as is, plan on dropping them quite a bit. No one's going to buy your home when they can buy the home down the street that they don't have to touch. Why is your home better than their home? And thank God for the internet now, because in the old days, my old days when I was little, people, one realtor came to your door with a couple and said, can we see your house? And today, there's no more listings in the paper. They read the Sunday paper. The real estate section was like this thick, and they'd circle them, right?
Now it's all online. And
it's
you
all
can
online.
tell from the pictures a lot of times if you even want to go in the house.
Every room, you can see the wastebasket in the corner of the bathroom. It's very, I will be so anal, and they'll go, really? Who cares? I said, in a photograph, everything shows. Just like, we know, like when we're sitting here, like the crease in your sleeve. Same thing with the bed or with the curtain. The minute you look at the photograph, you're staring at that curtain that's bent, right? Or the blind is crooked. So all those really things matter, because it's marketing, it's photographs, and it's huge when you're doing online, marketing your house online. And
what I think is really cool is that you're almost like the bad cop. You take that off, the pressure off of the real estate agent if you partner with them, correct?
Yes. And most of the clients that I work with are very, at first, and it's funny, I'll go in and the husband's just, because I ask that both sellers be there, because it's not fair.
You do a honey-do list?
It's not fair. They're going to go, no, we're not doing that. Well, if you were here and you heard her, we do have to do that. And they'll go, no, we don't. You go back and tell her. So I try to, if you're both there, then you both have the buy-in, and they remember why it's important that you have to do it. When you first get there, they go through they go through motions. So at first, they're hurt because what's wrong with my style? And once they understand, it's not your style. It's not anyone's style. We all have our style. When we move into a home, we bring our personality into the home. When you move out of your home, you take your personality out. It has nothing to do with your cleanliness, your decor. It's just you're putting back the property. It's a building. It has to be put back like you rented. Put it back to the way it was when you moved in, right? And no one's going to love your collections. No one's going to love your window treatments. They're going to love a very minimal space that they can see themselves in.
Well, and you run the risk too. Like, I know I'm a past realtor, and if there are things on the fridge or different pictures up, people take the time to see that versus looking at the home, and you spend a lot of time going, okay, but that's not going to be your pictures on the fridge.
And it's
visual people.
Like you have trouble seeing. Like I would have trouble going into a space and they're like, well, if you paint this wall, and I'm like, I can't see that. All I can see is this purple wall that's really hideous.
And it might make the room look small, or it might make it look
and it's hard to imagine like your own personality when somebody else is just screaming in your face,
Yeah, and it does. And I think in your mind, there's so much visual understanding you can have, and at some point you're like, it gives you a bad feeling. Like I can't see myself here, and so many little things that adds up to. It could be the rattan baskets. It could be the oriental rugs. So a lot of times, most of the homes that I work in are downsizers. So downsizers sell to first-time homebuyers or young families, right? So their decor style is like decades apart, totally opposite. So I explain, the people that are going to buy your house do not like wallpaper, do not like brass, do not like oriental rugs. They don't like ornate furniture. They don't like patterned furniture. Usually we have to go through an updating
my house.
Goodbye.
Yeah. So never mind, them taking out a lot of the personal items. I ask them to update the lighting. And if someone hasn't gone shopping at Lowe's or Home Depot, they have no idea they can buy a gorgeous chandelier for $79. They're like, what? Yeah, it's beautiful. That's huge. No one wants to put up a light. It also shows your house is maintained. You touch it. You keep it current, right? Because if people see things from the 80s, they're going to think, oh my God, nothing's been touched. They haven't done anything. It's a time capsule.
Yeah.
So, we try to work with whatever they do have. We don't make them go out and buy furniture, but at least, I'll send you to Home Goods and you'll buy, for that velvet chair, we'll buy a jute or burlap pillow that you just saw that you walked in and put it on the chair. So we'll try to work with whatever they have, and then, depending if it's an older home where they can get a real good asking price for it, it'll be more major. Maybe get the bathroom, maybe get the kitchen, and all those things will add, and they'll make a lot more money on their asking price. And it's some of them are on board, some of them they go in, they go, okay, what do you want us to do? We're ready. They love it, and others it's a little bit more convincing. But
Is it getting easier? Because I think, you know, it's relatively a new idea for people to
It started in
grasp.
California. That's
Yeah.
where it originated, in the mansions out in California and the high-end homes. And then it started to come over to the bigger cities, New York, Boston, Massachusetts. Everyone stages. I started doing this 5 years ago, the day the market crashed. The day that, you know, the signs came down. It's the day I started staging. So
You're like,
I had
"Great."
plenty of time to take my time for training. So no one wanted to stage in New Hampshire. So, and it was very hard to justify the cost because people were having a hard time selling the houses as it was, or they were a lot of people losing their money. So the market got great as of last year. It's been booming, and it's everyone that, we had to get the realtors to promote it, and with all the shows on TV and people understand you know, it's everyone does
Kind
it
of
now.
mainstream now.
It
Yeah.
is, it is.
You know, like people wanting to, because you see it on TV. You see it with Joanna and Chip and the Property Brothers and whatever. So you kind of assume, okay, I gotta.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think it's interesting, like even talking about that love it or list it, you know, where she makes your house current and he takes you to homes that are all staged.
Yes.
Right? Like they're perfect homes, and it's
Yes.
just how it is.
Yeah.
So-
Because you want to make as big an audience as possible, right? You want everyone to like your home, not just
Right.
a few people that like this style or a few people that want this. The other big things are at natural light. I always take down curtains and blinds. Even if they go, well, the windows are naked. Yep, it's okay when you're selling. It looks great in pictures. The room looks bigger. It looks brighter. And professional photos are huge. I work with a real estate photographer. And the difference between a real estate photographer and us with our phones, or even if you are a good photographer, the cameras that the real estate photographers use, it has special software. So they'll sit it in the room, and it takes 3 pictures, and it makes it 1 picture. So if you're shopping online for a house, and you're going through and looking, going, what I have to do is I have to take this side of the room and this side, because I can't get it all in 1 picture. So if they do that, people online go, I don't understand what this room is. Does this half go with this half? Or
Right.
did I go from the kitchen to the bedroom? I don't know what this is. So it's really important that they take pictures where you can see where the next room is and it should flow. You know, oh, okay, I get it. I'm walking from, you know, that is if there's not a video too. But
Sure.
the photos are really, really important. So
I remember going to a talk that you gave, and I thought it was very interesting, and it stuck with me that, like, if you have a room in a house that's a bedroom and you're using it as a study, you should use it as a bedroom.
define the space.
Define the spaces. And I just thought that was like something that I don't really think about. And then I was like, well, I don't really need to go out and get a new bed and all that. And you were like, well, do a blow-up mattress. Like,
That's what
no
I do.
one's going
Right.
in your home.
Right.
You know,
I did that happen
going,
today. She said, I don't have a mattress. I said, do you have a blow-up cot? And she said,
Yeah.
yeah. And I said, okay, well, do you have 4 boxes? I said, no one's going to lay on it. You know, just 4 boxes the same size, a blow-up cot, and then you can put a quilt on it and a pillow. And she's like, oh.
Yeah, because no one's in your house. They shouldn't be on your house.
Right, they
jumping
shouldn't
on
be,
your
like,
bed,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was really interesting, like how you try to perceive what a buyer will perceive. So it's like, well, you know, you have a 4-bedroom house, yeah, but 1 bedroom you're using as a study. Therefore, it's not a bedroom, and they can't see past that. And I'm like, really? But
Yeah.
you know,
Because
you
again,
have the
it's online.
experience.
The first showing's online. The first showing, they're not here. They are online looking at it, and they
Yeah.
want to see 4 bedrooms. Will it fit 2 twins? Will it fit a queen? Will it fit
Yeah.
a dresser? No, it's tiny. Okay, that'll be the baby's crib room. And so, yeah, we're very attentive to when I go to someone's house and there's a lot of things in there. We take things out of corners. We actually, what I try to do is have them take out everything but the big main pieces, and then you can bring back a couple of things versus take out this and take out that. We did a hot tub room today, and she had many, many pieces of decor in that hot tub room. So she said, it's going to look so empty. So we took everything out, and then we brought back 2 or 3 things. She goes, oh my God, I love that piece. And I don't even, she didn't notice it because there was so many other things. She goes, I love that. Now and I said, yes, just 1 or 2 is plenty. You appreciate that 1 piece versus we have too many collections, and then it just looks like a collection, and it looks like a wall of stuff. You don't even see the things.
So I know you go into people's homes just to stage it for them, and they're not listing it. you know. But have you ever listed or gone and staged a home and then they're like, okay, we're taking it off the market. We want to stay here now. We like this place.
They've said they'd like to. They've always ended up
they've always
selling it,
ended
but
up,
they were
okay.
like, man, they said, in my next house, I am not putting anything in it. Like they loved, at first they were very stressed about I said, you're not going to be comfortable. There's very little in here. You're not going to be, you have to get used to that chair not being there. You have to get used to your lamp not being here. It's not convenient to sell. You're basically in like a showroom.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, especially for poor parents that have young kids and pets. It's huge. It's such a pain. They have to, you know, for those situations, you know, we give them solutions like get everyone a caddy, right? Put all your little your soaps and everything. Everything goes under the sink in the morning. Everybody has to make their bed. You know, dishes have to be put in the dishwasher. Pets have to be brought out. And it's a lot of work. It's definitely a lot of
Yeah.
work. And they have to be, you know, if they want it to sell. And you know, it depends. The market's different. Some people don't even have to wash a dish and their house will sell like that. That's coming back. That's how it used to be. But these past few years have been really hard, so they've had to work really hard.
So Brenda, how do people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about staging or have any questions? What's a good way to reach you?
My website is stagedworksnh.com, and I also have a Facebook page that has much more current before and afters because it's so much easier
Great. So that's a
to
good
post
visual
those
for
than it is to
people
my website.
see.
So Sageworks Facebook page every day that's updated with before and afters, which is really helpful
Really
to clients
fun.
that
I
they get to
stalk
see
it.
it.
Good idea. Yeah.
And my phone number is 603-801-2283. And
Awesome.
love to give helpful tips. Anybody can call and ask questions. So
Great. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you.
kind of
It's
fun and
great.
light, ready
Thank
for
you.
spring.
Thank
so
you.
it's kind
Yes.
of a good time.
Spring cleaning.
Timely.
Yes.
cleaning.
Exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, this concludes our episode of The Loft. Thanks for joining us. I hope you are tuning in the next time. And until then, get out there and enjoy your community, and don't forget to view local.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.